Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Salon Etiquette with Miss Camille. Have you ever wondered why some clients stay forever and then some come and only come one time and you don't ever see them again? Well, I have worked in the salon many years and have built a successful clientele and was able to keep one. Now I'm an OG and I'm retired and I'm not behind the chair as often, but I still have those tips hidden in my back secret pocket. And every now and then I come out and share with hairstylists tips on how to build your clientele and how to keep your clientele. Well, today I'm outside. I'm a block from where I live at, and I'm at the plaza. They call this the plaza. Ooh, is that a bee flying around me? Oh, I don't know how long I'm gonna be out here. This bee gotta go. I had to cover my coffee up. I think it was smelling the sweetness from my coffee. So, this morning I got up and I visited my Facebook chat for us OGs on Facebook. Sometimes we get asked questions. So this morning a question was asked by a new stylist. Is $165 weekly a lot for a new hairstylist going into a salon? What did y'all pay as new stylists for booth rent? So a lot of us OGs, we chimed in and said, hey, instead of doing booth rent, would you ever consider just doing commission? A couple of people said, well, hey, you could do 80-30, you could do, 80-20, you could do 70-30. Well, when I come along, I did 50-50. So my response to the chat was, when I came along, I worked under a stylist at a salon for, the truth being, when we was in beauty school, we had a thought to get 1,500 hours. And once you had your 1,000 hours in beauty school, they encourage you to go work in a salon under someone as a apprentice, or as a receptionist, as a shampoo person. That way you could get what they call hands-on experience. You're not just going to school getting all this book work, and you don't have no realization on how daily salon operations really go. So again, the question was, what did you guys do as new stylists for booth rent? Well, I only booth in 35 years. I only booth rent for one time, and I hated it. I hated it because even if you don't make no money, you still have to make that booth rent. So a lot of us back to the Facebook chat went on to say, hey, won't you work in a salon under commission? Same thing I wrote. My response was, because the comment got 126 comments. That's how many people reported it, said to Courtney's post. 126 people. So most of the older people recommended her to go work in a salon where she could do commission to build a clientele. And matter of fact, I was in New Jersey when I had my first salon. And in New Jersey, booth rent is illegal. They don't even let you booth rent. So that never was an option for me in New Jersey. I didn't really come familiar with booth renting beauty salon chair until I worked in Mississippi and in Tennessee. So with that being said, I wrote, when I worked in the salon, when I was in beauty school, I worked I got my 1,000 hours, because once you have 1,000 hours, again, like I said, they encourage you to go work under somebody. Go work under somebody in a salon so you can get some real life experience. Now, mind you, this is the same as a doctor. This is the same as a lawyer. This is the same as a dentist. When they get once they finish school, they go under what they call an apprenticeship. You go work under somebody that's seasoned. You go work under somebody that's doing what you want to do, what you look forward to doing. And they have the years under their belt where they can help you get into the profession, instead of you just going to school and jumping out there. So again, I went to school, and when I got my 1,000 hours, they encouraged us to go work under somebody. Matter of fact, a lot of the salons back then would come recruit you at the beauty school, just like they do with the NFL. They recruit people. And back when I was in beauty school, that's what they did. They recruited us to work in the different salons. People that needed help. Hey, I need a shampoo girl. Hey, I need someone to come help me answer the phone in the salon. So that way you would get the hands-on, day-to-day experience on how to work in a salon. So you're just not, after you get out of school, you're just not thrown out there. So, like I said, I worked as a shampoo girl for I guess about almost 2 years. Because, 6 to 8 months I was still in school, and I would maybe work in a salon maybe 1 day a week or 2 days a week. I don't know how they do it now, but I worked 1 or 2 days a week in a salon to work and get some hands-on experience. Which, unlike today, I noticed a lot of people, they leave straight from school and they go into the salon. And if you haven't, okay, I'm on. They go straight from the school and into the salon, and they never really get a chance to get hands-on experience. So, like I said, I did the 1,500 hours. And then, of course, you sign up to go take your test, and you wait for the state board to get back with you to let you know when your test date is and all that. And matter of fact, when I was working in the salon, the people that I worked, the other stylists in the salon, when I let them know I was going to take my cosmetology exam, a lot of them let me know, hey, if you need any questions on the exam, let me know. Or if you need someone to practice with, let me know. And a lot of help came from working in a salon. And I would recommend, just like I did on this, just like I did with I'm out here in the park. I would recommend, just like I did with the comment, that you go work under somebody. Because when you come out of school, you still have a lot of questions. And one thing I did learn when I worked under somebody, I learned how I could look a lot, because I'm a visual learner. So I could look and see how they mix the color. I can look and see how they dealt with when the clients didn't show up. I could see how they did the chemical services. Well, back then it was relaxers, or they did the colors. I could see how they handled customers that were difficult. I could see, and it wasn't on my bill. It was just me standing in the background being observant. And I learned how to deal with customers that didn't. I know one salon I worked in. Hey, hello. The one salon I worked in, one of the girls didn't pay one time, and I see how the salon owner dealt with that. Now Told the girl, look, you got one day to come back with the money, or we calling the police. We filing. We filing suit. So when you work under somebody, you get to see how people deal with customers and how they, how they deal with the customers, how they deal with situations. Instead of you getting out, paying rent, gotta learn everything on your own. You get a chance to have someone to ask questions and to see how they interact with customers. And it's not all on just your bill, right? So when you go to school, get your hours. Once you get or older, matter of fact, they used to give you what they call like a permit. You could apply for a permit and you could go work under somebody in a salon. You could go work under somebody in a salon until you got your cosmetology license. And like I said, it was good for me because when I was going to take my test, it was questions I need. They said, oh, this is what other stylists in the salon, this is what I did when I took my test or whatever like that. So I know everyone wants to make a lot of money doing hair and get out there, but consider being a shampoo person or consider being a stylist assistant as long as you can. And back to me working in the salon, after working as a shampoo assistant, I became a stylist because the owners got so busy she couldn't take all the customers, and she started handing them to me. And as scared as I was, she said, girl, you gonna have to do some of these heads. I could hear it like it was yesterday. What? And by 6 months, I was booked. Because they was getting, them old ladies, they was getting old. They was giving me all the new hairstyles because I was up on the new trends. I was young, vibrant, out of school. And they would give me all the stuff, them young hairstyles they didn't want to be fooling with. And I did it. I got in there, jumped in there. Scared as I was the first couple of times, but after I got it, I got right on in there. Got right on in there. So consider after beauty school or during beauty school, you might have to sometimes, and I hear a lot of people, oh, I'm leaving nursing to do this, or I'm leaving this to go be a hairdresser. Being a hairdresser, like I said, if you can get in a busy salon where they already got the clientele, because some of them hairstylists, they older, they ready to, not that they ready to turn in their crown, but they more than willing to pass on some of those clients to us, younger ones, because they don't want to do all those clients. Especially if it's a good salon, they done paved the way for you where you can build a good clientele and you don't have to go in there and be struggling trying to worry about clients and whatever. But that's just my take. This is Salon Etiquette with Miss Camille. How I've just answering a response to a question answered in the Facebook group chat today on how to build your client. Well, she asked, was booth rent a cheap, $165 booth rent cheap for going into a salon coming out of school? And like I said, a lot of the older cosmetologists, we went ahead on in to say that, hey, see if you can get in a commission salon and build your book that way instead of you jumping out there by yourself trying to pay booth rent. And because sometimes with that booth rent, if you don't make any money, you still have to pay that booth rent. You still have to pay the booth rent even if you haven't made no money. So I didn't like that part because instead you concentrating on your craft. And that's another thing. Thank you, Big Stormy. I appreciate you. Thank you, Big Stormy. I appreciate you, Big Stormy. So instead of you concentrating on your craft, You're concentrating on money, how you can hurry up and get all this money. But you really want to build your clientele based on your craft and people following you that way. Do that make any sense? Because you don't want to get to the place where you're just worrying about paying your rent. You know how it is just paying regular rent where you stay at. You can't concentrate trying to pay your rent. So if it's good if you work in a salon under somebody so you can concentrate on your craft. Concentrate on that favorite color. And not only that, if you work in a salon under somebody, if it's something you don't know how to do or you're not sure, you can go ask somebody. Well, ask the owner. Because sometimes when you work with other stylists, I'm going to be honest, they don't want to be bothered. Some. If you're another stylist. Now, if you're the shampoo girl and you working under them, helping them to do their clients, they don't mind. Hey, mix this, mix 1A and 2B. You know, they don't mind helping you. So that's why I say you work under somebody as long as you can. That way you can learn all the tricks of the trade. Because to be honest, sometimes when you're in school, you don't, I know, me personally, it might be still questions. Do that make sense? You still got questions. But when you work in a salon under people, it gives you a chance to ask questions, see if you can, work through the kinks. Do that make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Fam, John. Thank you. But yeah, work under someone long as you can. Work under someone. And a lot of the other responses, they were just simply saying, make sure that you find a commission salon. And then that's how I started. I worked as a commission salon. I worked as a shampoo girl for like a year or two. And like I said, after the first 6 months, I had my own clientele. Because like I said, sometimes you get in them salons, them older stylists, they don't want to do, back then, they were still doing finger waves. And when I came out, I was doing like the weaves and the fancy cuts and stuff. Them old people wasn't trying to do all that. They would tell them in a minute, you go to Camille. Right? And then I tell them old people that want them figure waves, you go to Miss Andre. Right? You tell them. And it's enough money for everybody. Because once you build your clientele on what you do, your people will find you. Your people will find you. You'll build your own clientele, and it's enough money for everybody. In the barber business, in the hair business, nail business, it's enough because you whatever the special juice you bring, no one can do it like you. No one can do it like you. No one got your special touch. Even if people try to copy you, they can't copy you. So work, if you can, work under somebody as long as you can before you have to step out on your own and have to pay booth rent, which maybe in some places you're already making that kind of money, you can pay booth rent. But and that's another thing, because when you work as booth rent, them stylists not trying to help you because they thinking, well, why am I going to help you? Because if you can't do it, let you move out the way, let me do it. Because I need the money to pay my rent. Right? So, get in a commission salon. I know some people on here said do 70-30. A couple of people said do 80-20. Get in a salon, work under somebody long as you can. Build up your craft. build up your craft. Like I said, as far as being a assistant, it was good being assistant because I got to see how they mix the color. Okay, 2 points this, 2 points that. Okay, she used this. She mixed this. Girl, she mixed this to get rid of the grab. She'll tell you put a little bit of this in there to get rid of the red, or put a little bit of this to mix this to do a little bit of that. So you getting all the front hand stuff that you might skip at school. You getting front and center stuff that you missed at school. You getting front center, so that way you're not missing out on anything, because they let you know how to do it. Right? Do that make sense? Do that make sense? It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. But this is Salon Etiquette with Miss Camille. And if you have any questions, please leave them down in the chat. Just chat me, inbox me, DM me, because I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. So I'm going to work on being more consistent with my videos. Sometimes I get in there and I get discouraged. Then I get back on in there because they questions are steady coming. Like I said this morning, someone said, is $165 too much to be spending on a proofread? And if it was 126 people in the chat, then it was 50 of us old heads saying, you better go get in a commission salon and work under somebody as long as you can. I would work under somebody as long as I can. Not only that, like I said, you learn how to handle customers. Like I said, I was working at one salon and one of the girls got their hair done and they didn't pay the lady. I seen how the owner of the salon handled the situation. I see how she handled the situation. I see how when it was time to close, if they wanted to get out of there at 9 o'clock, they stopped taking their last person at 6. Or if you was getting something to take 3 or 4, 5, 6 hours, you watch and you seen how they told the people, hey, you got to come back next week, or you got to come back tomorrow. They wasn't, because it was time we was in the shop all night, every night. I don't see people in the shop like that no more. But working under somebody, you get to learn the tricks of the trade. Stuff you might not learn when you go booth renting and you got there on your own. And it's so funny because what draw my attention to the comment is because one of the old heads said, well, what are y'all learning in beauty school that they always asking on how they can build a clientele? Because all of us, we worked under somebody. And you worked in a salon, you worked under somebody, and then you came in with the new trends, the new styles, and them old people wasn't trying to do what you was doing, and they start handing them as soon as them customers come in. Hey, I don't do that, but such and such does it. Hey, Camille, this girl wants braids. I seen you did somebody braids last week. You did a good job. She wants the same thing. Pass them right on to you. You ain't out looking for no whole clientele. Matter of fact, your feet be hurting. You be ready to get out of there because you done did so many people. Huh? Matter of fact, after 2 years working, so I was maybe 2 years as a shampoo girl. Maybe worked under maybe a year and a half. I've been 18 months working as a shampoo girl. Because like I said, when they found out they was getting tired of doing all those heads, and I was a young buck and I was ready, especially as soon as I got my license. Because, while I was a shampoo girl, I worked on getting my license. You know how you signed up for your test. And like I said, signed up for my test. And before you know it, I had my license. As soon as I got my license, they was ready to put me out on the floor. Because they knew that I worked there. They knew they had taught me everything. They knew they taught me everything I needed to know. They knew that they watched me. They watched me. They knew that I knew my stuff because they taught me. So they wasn't afraid to unleash me to the clients because they firsthand showed me what to do. Firsthand, they showed me how to shampoo. Didn't have to worry about. I learned how to shampoo. Girl, you better scrub. I can hear them now. Girl, you better scrub them heads. That's what they would tell you. Scrub them. Got to get down in there. I didn't learn that at beauty school. So it's a lot of stuff you don't learn at beauty school that you learn. That you learn working as an assistant. Yeah, and that's how I learned how to shampoo, being an assistant. And like I said, the hairstylist that I work at for, they was getting older. And I was a young buck, 20-something, coming out of beauty school. I was ready, right? I was ready. I was ready and able and willing and able, as they say. Willing and able. So, consider, again, going and working in a salon as a shampoo person, building up your clientele, working under somebody. Work under somebody, learn all you can. If you have to book rent, that's your only alternative. Okay. But just know, if you have questions about something, them other stylists in the salon might not be so willing to help you because they there to make their money and pay their rent. So they're not going to be stopping to answering your questions and whatever. You just going off of trial and error. And then you got to be careful too, because some people just want you to rent from them, but they might even know you can't afford. But it don't matter because they're going to get their money. But like I said, sometimes you want to need help. Even after you get out of beauty school, you still going to need help. And if you work under somebody in a salon, you get that extra help. And again, so let me give you 3 reasons why it's good to work under somebody in a salon before you go out and start renting booths. 1, you get hands-on experience. 2, you don't have to worry about buying the products because you'll see what products the stylist is using. And 3, most of the time when you work in a salon like that and you start off as a shampoo assistant, once they teach you all they know, they start handing you clients. It's just like a doctor. When people go to school to be a doctor, they work under a head physician. Sometimes if you ever go to the doctor and you see him, they say, well, this is Dr. such and such. He's working under me. Because even after a doctor goes to school for 5-6 years, they still have to do what they call a residency. They just don't go cutting on people and start. They have to get an approval, written referral from someone that they worked under, saying, yes, this person worked under me for 3 years. Yes, this person worked under me for 2 years. So I don't know how in the world cosmetology, they just let you jump out there and start doing people's hair without making it a recommendation for you to go work under someone that's already been in the business, somebody that's already seasoned, which I think a little bit that's because a lot of the beauty schools, they just base it on getting people to get that license and pushing them out there. How many people can we sign up for this school and make our money? I'm just saying. Well, not knowing that once you get that, even though you get a license, you're not done. You're not done. You still need to ask questions. Because some people, we get in school, we playing all around. You don't pay. You're not paying attention to all of the details sometimes, and it might be stuff you get out there and you need help with, right? Right. Well, my name is Miss Camille. This is Salon Etiquette with Miss Camille. Salon Etiquette with Miss Camille. Want to see you booked and busy. And it is possible to build a clientele, to make lots of money. One step at a time, one client at a time. It's just like building bricks. You're going to build your clientele one client at a time. One client at a time. One client at a time. Right? Booked and busy. One client at a time. One client at a time. All right. Remember, my three reasons why it's good to go work under somebody after you leave beauty school. 3 reasons why it's, and another thing, they got the salon suite. Why you gotta pay that rent. Not only you gotta pay the rent and you gotta buy your supplies. One tube of good hair color costs you $10. $10. Some of these styles you need more than one tube. You need more than one tube. You need more than one tube of hair color. And that's not including the developer. So work under somebody as long as you can. Learn all the tips of the trade. Learn all the tips of the trade. And like I said, usually if you're the shampoo person, they don't feel intimidated. Oh, she's just a shampoo person. So let them say that. Who cares? You getting all the information. All the knowledge is free. Free knowledge. Right? Free knowledge. Free wisdom. Free insight. Right? I know, like, one hairdresser, he was always doing something crazy. And I knew, okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do what he did. I'm just a shampoo girl, but I'm standing back. I'm like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. He know, matter of fact, I'm going to say Lucci. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do what Lucci do. But Lucci was always booked. Always booked. Women love them. I just think that's a men hairdresser thing. I think the women just love the men hairdressers. I think that's what that is. The women just love the men hairdressers. But remember, 3 good reasons why it's good to work under somebody before stepping out on your own. 1, you get hands-on experience. 2, they buy all the supplies, so you get to know what supplies to use, what supplies not to use. And not only that, you get to know how to use them. And then 3, you get built-in clients. Because like I said, when you work under somebody, sometimes they come so busy. They can only do so many people. Sometimes they glad to hand off their clients. Especially if you don't work under them. They know, okay, I done show her. I done show him. I know he know his stuff. I know he knows his stuff. I know how I showed him how to mix the color. I showed him how to shampoo. I know I showed him how to put the conditioner on there and leave him under the dryer with the plastic cap. I know I showed him how to put a warm towel around. It's the little things. It's the little things. I know I showed him how to put the towel around the people's necks. I know I showed him. So I'm ready to unleash him like Simba. Hiya! Ready to release you. So work under somebody as long as you can. Gain the wisdom, gain the knowledge, gain the free insight. Free insight on how to do the little things. You learn it. You get to learn it. See how they do stuff. It's just like a doctor. I know when my kids were and it used to be a time people would work under people for years and years and years. But now every day everybody wants the instant money and they want to instantly jump out there. They want to instantly get their own, which I ain't gonna lie, because I was a shampoo girl for like 18 months, almost 2 years. And after 2 years after working under the lady I worked under, I end up going into getting my own salon. And I only went into my own salon because my husband and we started having children, and my husband felt it was a good idea to have the kids. Matter of fact, I only worked 3 days a week. We start having the kids come to the salon after I got off work, or if he needed to bring the baby so I could breastfeed my baby. So so that way I could start breastfeeding my baby, and I didn't have to worry about my baby. I could bring my baby to work with me. So that is how that worked out. Now, in fact, my baby going on 36 this year. So that's how long I've been doing hair. I've been doing this a long time. My baby is 36. Well, matter of fact, she'll be 36 next week. No, March the 29th. Not next week, next month. And my 34-year-old just turned 34 last week, February the 2nd. My second daughter just turned 34. So mind you, I'm talking about, I started doing hair back in 1990. So my oldest daughter was born in 1990. And then my second daughter was born in 1992. And I opened up my first salon back in 1995. So I worked under somebody for, like I said, a good 3 years before I went and by the time I was on my third baby, my husband was like, you need your own space. Because sometimes he would go pick them up for the daycare and he could bring them to the salon, and I might only have to finish up a little bit, or maybe clean up the salon or something, and I could have them with me. But yeah, so
where are you?
I'm in all right. So Miss Camille, Salon Etiquette, until next time, stay booked and busy.